Jammu and Kashmir. Well, let's shift focus to some more breaking news that's coming in. This is brought to us by our investigations editor Manoj Gupta. Now, Pakistan's atrocity seemed to be caught on camera once again. It's a mega CNN News 18 exclusive where 400 rotten bodies have been found on Multan's Nishtar Hospital rooftop. According to a source in the Nishtar Hospital in Multan, over 400 abandoned bodies were recovered. Many corpses have had their chests ripped open and their organs removed. The bodies are believed to be the victims of the enforced disappearances who have been abducted by Pakistani forces from both Balochistan and Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. Now, Baloch separatist leaders have appealed to international humanitarian organizations for an independent inquiry as well as DNA tests.
ऐसे होता है कि ये जो लावारिस लाशें होती हैं इनको हम एक अरसा तक रखते हैं और उसके सारा प्रोसेस कंप्लीट किया जाता है कंसर्न डिपार्टमेंट को उसकी इन्फॉर्मेशन दी जाती है अदारों को जब इनका कंफर्म हो जाता है कि इनका कोई वायरस नहीं है फिर हम इनको यूजफुल पर्पस के लिए इस्तेमाल करते हैं
निश्तार हॉस्पिटल मुल्तान में मामा 400 जो है डेड बॉडीज मिली हैं
जी
और उसमें खबर ये आ रही है कि ये बलूच और पश्तून लोगों की है
जी
तो इसके बारे में आपका क्या कहना है
दाढ़ियों से जिनके कपड़ों से जिनके जूतों से जिनके डील डाल से मालूम होता है पूरा कंफर्म है कि ये लोग बलोच मिसिंग पर्संस हैं जिनको जबरदस्ती उठा के खुफिया अदारों वाले ले जाते थे और उनको बंद करते हैं और उसके बाद उनकी मसकशुदा लाशें फेंक के अस्पतालों में या वीरानों में या जंगलों में या सरेआम फेंक देते हैं इस तरह के केसेस हमें पहले भी बहुत मिला है लेकिन कम तादाद में वज़ीर आला के मशीर के जो है ना इनको गिद्दे भी नोच ली हैं इनको कव्वे भी खा गए इनके बॉडीज में कीड़े भी पड़ गए हैं तो इनको बेदर्दी से हॉस्पिटल के छतों पे फेंक दिया गया है इस तरह तो कोई ऐसा काम गैर मुहज़्ज़ब मुल्क भी ऐसा नहीं कर सकता है लेकिन ये पाकिस्तान अपने आप को इस्लामी जमहूरियत पाकिस्तान कहता है तो उनके लिए ये शर्मनाक बात है
मामा ये
By Anand Narasimhan on this piece of breaking news. Anand, shocking visuals coming in from Pakistan. Now, at the same time, has this racket, this illegal organ trade racket linked to the disappearances of Baloch leaders and Baloch civilians, has it come to light in the past? Is this the first time we're getting news of this illegal organ trade racket involving those forced disappearances in Balochistan? And secondly, how will we get to the bottom of who these people really are? Because the Pakistani government will never admit to the fact that these are Baloch residents.
Well, two very pointed questions that you've asked, Ayushman, but what a doctor has told on conditions of anonymity is that these people are Baloch or Pashtun because given the kind of clothing that they're wearing. Then the footage is also indicating that the bodies of the Baloch and Pashtun are, as they have very, very strong body structure as in mountainous and hard regions. That's what the doctor is saying. And they're also saying that there is no DNA testing which is being done. And there is an effort to try and continuously hide this entire matter. That also points towards Aji-Baji. Now, Baloch separatist leaders have very clearly urged and appealed the international humanitarian organizations for an independent inquiry and DNA test because what they are saying is this is not the first time. Thousands of Baloch have been reportedly and Pashtun have reportedly gone missing and the matter has been raised with the UNHRC time and again. And what they are saying is that this is the work of an international organs racket. And what they do is they are doing it with the help of the establishment because the establishment first helps kidnap these people, they disappear, and then their organs are being sold in the international market to raise funds for once again funding or financing nefarious activities. So what they are saying is the questions that arise is that if it is part of a student study, how is it that more than 400 bodies have been found in one hospital? That is a question that remains. The other part is that mostly these people seem to be, and can you confirm or deny that these are not bodies of people who have disappeared from Baloch regions and Pashtun regions? There are no answers. And if there is nothing but experimentation that's going on, why are body parts missing? Why are the chests looking at it as if they have been ripped off? Why are organs like liver, kidney and eyes which are missing? So these questions remain. So clearly it's an international organ racket. and there has to be connivance of the state, because these are all people from regions where there is forcible and very, very strong coercive Pakistani military action, because they've tried to quell rebellion, civic unrest in these regions, be it the Pashtun region, Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, or of course the Baloch region.
Right. I'm also joined by Pathakrit Payne on the broadcast on this horrific piece of news that's coming in from Pakistan. Pathakrit, now when it comes to the Baloch cause at the end of the day, it's very seldom that you see any international pressure being applied on Pakistan. But with this gruesome crime coming in from Pakistan against supposed people who've been abducted from Balochistan and Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, do you think that there is some hope that some international cry can be rallied against the Pakistan state, especially when it comes to the mounting evidence of atrocities against Balochis?
Well, it's highly unlikely, as per me, that something will be done by the international community, because the issue of disappearances of people from Balochistan and the Khyber Pakhtunkhwa region has been going on for a long time. As per certain reports, almost 47,000 people in Balochistan are missing, and around 35,000 in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa region who are of Pashtun origin. And there have been instances in the past where the Pakistan army has even used Cobra helicopters and fighter planes and tanks to crush people from Balochistan. So, and even then, the Americans or the Western institutions, Western-backed institutions like the United Nations and others, they didn't even do anything. So they didn't even blink. The reality is that Pakistan has a nuisance value, and that's the reason they will always keep the deep state of Pakistan in good humor. I mean, I just want to make a comparison. If you look at what is happening in the Xinjiang province, over which the West does a lot of talk, and there are major sanctions that have been imposed, and which is justifiably so. But if you look at in comparison to what is happening in the Xinjiang province with the Uyghur Muslims, what the Pakistan government has done with the Baloch people or the Pashto is far more profound, and yet Pakistan has never been put behind any kind of pressure. On the contrary, you might even see that there are major overtures that are being made by the United States to bring Pakistan out of the FATF grey list. And if in the recent past there are aid to the extent of $2 billion, which was given to Pakistan because of the flood over there, compare it with what happened in Sri Lanka, which is a bankrupt country today. In spite of all the major efforts, very little money was given by the Western institutions or global institutions backed by the West, whereas the alacrity with which money has been flowing in all over again into Pakistan, in spite of the fact that the Americans know it very well, how the Pakistanis have played the game of hunting with the hound and running with the hare. And that's the reason, in spite of all this, because they have a value, and perhaps, there is an ulterior motive to contain India through Pakistan all over again, just as they want to use India to contain China. And that's the reason you would see that in spite of all the atrocities and everything, every edifice of evidence, whether in spite of that, the fact that they are a harbinger on a cradle of incubating terrorism, or the atrocities that they have done on people of Baloch origin or Pashto, absolutely nothing will be done. The reality is the West have always used Pakistan. Pakistan also knows, because of their geostrategic position, they would always have some utility for the West. So frankly speaking, I do not think anything would happen. Even if some message statements are made by United Nations, it will be wrapped in a few days' time. And frankly speaking, the West will not even blink its eyes. It is going on for a long period of time. It's just that it has come in the news. Otherwise, it's not a big news so far as people of Balochistan are concerned. They know that these 47,000 people who have disappeared are for nothing. Frankly speaking, the issue of organ trade and possibility, I can't confirm, but the possibility of these organs even going to China cannot be ruled out. So reality is, as things stand, it will remain the way it is. In a matter of time, they would even be rewarded, perhaps, with taking them off from the grey list of FATF.
Right. Pathakrit, you've been following the internal kind of dynamics within Pakistan for a while now. Now, while you're saying that it's unlikely that there is any international pressure on Pakistan, even with the mounting evidence of their atrocities against the people of Balochistan, let's talk about the internal security paradigm when it comes to the Baloch Liberation Army.
See, frankly, there are two things happening in the recent past. What has happened, Tehreek-e-Taliban has, renewed its offensive actions against Pakistan government, and Tehreek-e-Taliban, as per certain reports, they are joining hands with Baloch Liberation Front and other, Balochistan-based militant organizations, and that is where I think Pakistan is a little nervous, because today what has happened, whether it is Tehreek-e-Taliban or the Balochistan-based organizations fighting against the Pakistan government, both of them realize that the best way to hit Pakistan is by hitting the critical infrastructures of the China-Pakistan economic corridor, and by hitting the Chinese personnel. And that's why you see there has been a series of attacks on Chinese installations, on Chinese personnel, on every major critical infrastructure which is upcoming in that region, because anything that hurts China as part of CPEC hurts Pakistan in turn. And Pakistan, actually, given the fact that today it's almost a vassal state of China and they depend badly on finances coming from China, anything that happens over there impacts them. So if you look at what is happening in Balochistan or in the whole region of Khyber Pakhtunkhwa or the Swat Valley, which might even convert into an Islamic emirate controlled by Tehreek-e-Taliban in the near future, you would see the internal situation will become even worse. Also, given the fact that today the government of Pakistan is not in a position to fight or wage war against the Tehreek-e-Taliban anymore because of their precarious financial condition, because of rising inflation, because of rising balance of payment crisis, because of their financial bankruptcy, because they are almost living at the mercy of both the West and the Chinese, the possibility of rise of the radical elements will even become more profound, which are already there. Tehreek-e-Taliban, Balochistan are joining hands, and if you see organizations like Pakistan Tehreek-e-Labbaik, they're putting pressure all over again against the government. So it is a dicey situation over there, and that's why I think the Pakistan government knows that the best way they can recover out from all the predicament that they are rightly in right now is by toeing to the Americans' lines and do exactly what they want to do, or what they want Pakistan to do. And that's the reason, for nothing, almost all of a sudden, Pakistan got the $450 million equipment sustainment fund from United States, and the American ambassador going to Pakistan occupied Kashmir, calling it an Azad Kashmir, Azad Jammu and Kashmir. So there are certain things happening, and Pakistan believes, as in the past, that if they could again toe to the American lines and perhaps also at the same time the Chinese line, then their utility will remain intact and they can handle the internal security crisis all over again. But I don't think it will happen that way. The dynamics have changed altogether. The war in Afghanistan is over. The Afghans are supporting the Tehreek-e-Taliban. So the situation within Pakistan is precarious. And that's why I think whatever happens to Baloch region, I think nobody will blink an eye, because of the most important reason being Balochis have no actual, point of leverage. They have never got the voice in the global platform, simply because the Americans know that the Pakistan's deep state has a utility which they can use for, say, pinpricking India or other countries wherever the requirement is. They used it in 1980s against the Soviet invasion in Afghanistan. So keeping the deep state of Pakistan happy, I think the Americans will oblige with a lot of things, including possibly helping them with satellite imagery to target Tehreek-e-Taliban. Whether it happens or not, I don't know. But the internal situation and the economic situation, as we all know, are very precarious. As things stand today, whether Pakistan will survive in the next 1 decade or not, we don't know. But Baloch issues are there. Nobody is actually taking care of them. Nobody talks about them. Reality is, it's the Baloch and the Tehreek-e-Taliban organizations based in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa who now realize that nobody will fight their war. They're joining hands, and that is the only reason why the Pakistan is a very, very, very unnerved right now.
Right, and